Hit the plug, homie on the 6th floor. Said he had the mean 16 for a nigga like me. One here it go. Started building on supreme mathematics. Fibonacci, people of the Anunnaki. Civilization and mutilation of the body. Illuminati and the rising of society. Finally, the body of the Elohim. Eternal beings, living out the ghetto dream. We've been made away from the heyday. Not for play, dab, or the nay. White sheets blowing KK, Ray J. The kid bad to the bone, baby. Mayday, may I get airplay. Without the chemtrails fucking up the airways. Now nigga can't breathe, blame it on the hairspray. Anyway, we could build any day. Pelican Bay, black bottle Hennessy. Whatever, elevate your mind to a better space. I ain't really come to club, it was lit though. I ain't really come to club, it was lit though. It lit though, 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 it lit though. When I come through, I'm something like cut. You gotta give it up, dude.
Ho, come on in. Come on in, family. Come on in. Come on in. We got work to do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got work to do today. But let's get back on frequency. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Put your nines up. You already know what to do. Yeah. Grand Rising. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Live in full effect, sunshine. Live in full effect. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's power up them bracelets. Let's power up the energy in the room. Let's get rid of all distractions. It's ascension time. It's ascension time, like we do every morning, 9 a.m. I want to feel good. I want to feel good coming through the speaker. Yeah. Yeah. That organic sound. Let it ring. Let it ring. The name of that song is Lit Though. It's Lit Though. That's off of the album that I dropped with me and my boy Nar Halo. If you like that song, you can download it on iTunes. I think I might have to put it back out there again, but we're talking about the secret cycle this morning. The secret cycle. The information that we're going to give is going to be powerful. We're going to build this morning. But first, got to shout out my first nine. Who's my first nine? Sonia Sunshine. Oh, that's why Sonia Sunshine so live. She was the first one on this morning. I see you, Queen. Peace. I see you. Ashe. Elemental vibrations. Love, 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 love. Love, love. Peace, Queen Latifah. Always on deck. Putting those nines up. Put your nines up. Let me know where y'all from. Put your nines up in your city, where you from. In your state. Black Power. Black Power. I see you, Queen. Black Power. All right. Lisa Grant Ellison. Oh, yeah. Keep it jamming, baby. That's how we do. You know, I like to give y'all a little bit of bad music before we start, so we can get on one accord, you know. Shannon J. Head bobbing, let's go. You like that? That's what's up. Eddie Sandige. I see you, brother. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for being on time. Irvin Garrett. Peace, King. Peace, brother. Thank you for putting your nines up. And Shatisha. Hey. I see you. I see you. Everybody that's showing so much love, I appreciate you. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the thumbs up. So we could get on top of the list. We are a growing community, showing lots of love to the black community, to the African community. If you haven't already, log on to the Facebook and follow on Facebook, JAMAAR Milton, facebook.com/JAMAAR Milton, and you can be a part of the Lighthouse as well. And don't bother clicking friends. We already have too many friends. We need more people to click the follow button because the friends is already full. I have to do a seasonal purge of the coons. So once I do my seasonal purge of the coons, I'll let you in. I'll let you know when you can, when I'll open the floodgates for you guys to come in so we can add more friends. So we got people from all around the world. Georgia, I see all y'all. I see all y'all. South America. All right. So we're getting into the secret cycle. What is the secret cycle? What is the secret cycle? Okay. I'm going to reveal to you today how many people have asked me to hit me in my inbox. How do you remember so much stuff? How do you retain so much knowledge? How do you implement the knowledge that you have? Where are you getting all of this from? Right? Because it just seems like it's so much. It's like overwhelming. Right? I'm going to teach you a process on how to train your mind, body, and soul to take this information and be able to apply it. I don't want you to be people that are just knowledgeable. You understand? I don't want the lighthouse to consist of a whole bunch of people with a lot of knowledge, book knowledge, whatever, video knowledge, and can't apply it to their everyday lives. That's not what we're about here today. And at the same time, I don't want you to be somebody who's living out things that you've seen in repetition and don't know how it applies to you personally. Don't know how to download it into your system to where you render it as if the way that you're supposed to be. You need to be individuals, not trying to copy somebody else, right? I'm not trying to make more of me. Understand? I'm trying to help you to recognize who you are, right? That's the difference. You don't have to be like me to be in the lighthouse, right? So I think it's important that I lay that foundation that this is not a club. This is not a club. This is an ascension for individuals to find themselves. So now, I want to bring you guys attention to this relief here. This is a real important relief to me. Very important. I've explained this relief before, but I'm going to go in a little bit more depth with it now to show you how to use this relief in your favor, what it means, and how to get this knowledge, how to get this work on your own. Even after the use, you won't even need me anymore after this. Okay? So what I want you to look at is the characters here. Okay? The first character is the most important character. That first character is called Hech. Hech. Okay? Hech. And Hech is one of the primordial deities of the Agduwad. The Agduwad. Hech represents, if you look here, Hech represents infinity or a timeless being. Okay? As you see here, all of the people in the Agduwad, I don't want to say people, but all of the energies in the Agduwad are balanced. You have Nun, Nonet, Heh, Hehet, Kuk, Koket, Amon, Amonet. Okay? Now, if you look at this arrangement of deities, of energies, you should be able to notice something if your brain works like mine. You should be able to notice something with an enlightened eye. Okay? With a third eye that's open just from looking at this diagram. If you look at the first letter, the first sounds of each of these deities, you will see that it spells out Ankh. Ha ha ha! So these are syllables, these are sounds that we use to invoke the original primordial deities of the entire universe, what we call life. When we say Ankh, we are invoking these deities. You understand? When people say, what does the Ankh mean? The Ankh, remember, it has to exist on all planes. It has to exist as above, so below, on all levels. Do you understand? So if we're talking about the primordial or the beginning energies of the entire universe, of all creation, we have to deal with Ankh. We have to deal with Nun, Nonette, Coquette, I'm on net. These are balanced energies. They are all balanced energies. There was never just one powerful creature or one powerful deity over. It was always different assets of that one. Okay? When we're explaining a different function of what the all-powerful is doing or what they call the Most High, this is how we refer to them from the beginning. Okay? So, Nonet is water. Amonet is invisibility. He is infinity. And Ket is darkness. Okay? So this is how everything started. Right? They are all one. 360 degrees of energy. But the one we want to focus on today is Heh. Because Heh has been around since infinity. Heh has been around since infinity. And as I always tell you, knowledge is infinite. Infinite. Right? So you can never know it all. Right? This is why I get offended when people come on this feed and they say master teacher, because you can never know it all. Knowledge is infinite. There's no way to master knowledge. Anybody that is telling you that is trying to feed you a lie, propaganda, deception. You understand? There's an ulterior motive there for anybody that feeds you that nonsense. Knowledge is infinite. So, getting back to this excerpt here, we want to figure out, how do we get infinite knowledge into our bodies? How do we become one with the knowledge to utilize it in our everyday lives? It starts with Heh. And you see Heh in a kneeling position, or the position of Hotep, the position of peace, nirvana, tranquility. Heh is usually colored blue because it represents either the waves, the primordial waters of the waves, the primordial waters, or wavelengths, like energy. You understand? So when we're dealing with water, we're dealing with an energy, as you can see. So if you look inside the body of Heh, you'll see little waves inside the body. Heh can be both male and female, depending upon the act that it's doing. If it's giving birth, more than likely it's going to be in its feminine energy. And you will see that it will have a male characteristic. As you can see, it has the beard, the long beard, right? But it also has a breast, a left breast, to show you that there's duality with this energy. It is both a male, masculine, and feminine energy. You understand? It is a balanced energy. And here you see Heh, and next to Heh, you have on the bottom there what looks like a singular cellular organism, right? That singular cellular organism is a symbol. It's a symbol of DNA. It is a cell. Okay? In her hand, or in his hand, he's holding the palm branch, right? And that palm branch represents information. It represents the things that you've learned during the day. That's what that palm branch with the seeds represents. It's palm seeds. Now, that information that has, the infinite information, is being passed on, right? You see that little eye in the singular cellular organism, right? It's being passed on to the person next to him. I'm going to break this down in layman's terms. To the man next to him. And you see that man is holding two sides, two pools, or two waves of energy. Any idea what those two waves of energy can be? On opposite sides of the body, what those two waves can be? You know what that is. Come on, family. That's Kundalini energy. It's the Kundalini energy. That is the two waves of energy that human beings have inside of their body. See, they try to tell you that the people of Kemet didn't talk about Kundalini energy and they didn't deal with the chakras. That's a damn lie. People just can't read it. They can't read it. They don't have the African mindset. So those two pools right there is the energy. You see this with the all-seeing eye and everything comes alive. Everything starts to just come alive. So that's the Kundalini energy that you're dealing with. The left hemisphere, the right hemisphere of the brain, both energies are being downloaded, as you can see, or I should say ingested or given to the person, but this is during the day. This is during the day when this energy is being manifested. Let me go back to the image here. So you see the left pool and the right pool of energy. You see it's blue just like Hech. Two infinite pools going into this one person, right? So now when you look to the right of that person, you'll see what looks like a temple. It looks like a temple, multicolored temple. You see that? That square? Okay? That square is sitting on a mat. And that mat is Ma'at. Okay? When you see that long mat like that, that's Ma'at. Anytime you'll see the Ma'at several times. You'll see Ma'at all over the place represented in several different ways. But Ma'at represents balance. Okay? So that temple is sitting on that carpet-like structure, that carpet-like glyph, which represents Ma'at. Okay? So now the information that was given during the day, that was received during the day from Heh, the infinite knowledge, is now put into a cell, right? That singular cell organism by the cell. It is now registered into the Kundalini energy, which rises up, right, to the brain. And if you look to the right, that temple that's sitting on Ma'at, that is your brain. That temple is your brain. This is why when they say guard your temple, right? When you're if they say guard your temple, if you're in boxing and you're in a fight, where is your temple? Where is your temple when you're guarding your temple? Okay? So what looks like the temple of Edfu, which is what they used here, okay, in this glyph, that temple, there's information that's being sent to the temple. And it's being stored into that temple. If you look at the top of the temple, you'll see all different types of little boxes. And they're arranged in all different ways, as you can see. That represents the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain. And as you see in the middle, in between those, there's lines that are straightened out that connect those two hemispheres. You see that? Those lines there, the red and the green, right? The lines that connect the two hemispheres of the brain. You see how people spoke in pictures. They were visual people. So you have to understand the pictures. The pictures is worth 1,000 words. So if you look, the two hemispheres of the brain are connected. And then as you go down that same temple, that same glyph of the brain, you see now the information that was put into the brain is being processed. And those lines are being made straight. They're combined now. The greens are with the greens. The reds are with the reds. And it's sitting on Ma'at. It is sitting on Ma'at, meaning it has made sense, right? It's become balanced. The information that was received, the infinite knowledge that was given to the brain was now received, rearranged, and made sense of it all. Now, what I want to tell you is, now that this person was utilizing Kundalini energy, all of this is now happening while you are sleeping. This entire situation that's happening right now is happening while you are sleeping. Okay? When you go to sleep, that information that you have in your brain that's scrambled gets straightened out. Okay? And if you look to the right, after that temple, you see that? After the temple, there's a smaller version of that temple now. But now that temple is made clean. It's white. It's all clean. You see that? A smaller version. Why? Because there's a part of the brain, a smaller part of the brain that is empty, that stores information. You see that? And then it has the eye of Heru above it. You see that? That information is now being put into the empty part of your brain, the one that is clean. You understand? It's being stored there in the brain. Okay? This process is happening while you are asleep or while you are meditating. If you notice, Hech is in a meditative position. You see? This is why it's important to meditate. They say, how do you retain all the information? Meditation. Meditation. You see? So the information that Hech, the infinite knowledge that is given to you, is being put into a cell. An individual cell, all individual cells of the brain. The brain makes sense of it. During meditation, it gets stored into an empty space within your brain. That is that white compartment, that white part. This is what your ancestors are trying to tell you. This is how the brain works. We're dealing with consciousness and unconsciousness information. It gets stored in the white part of the brain, the clean part of the brain, right? The empty, I should say, part of the brain. Now, if you look to the right, you will see, to the right of that, you will see the cow, or the Het Haru, the symbol of Het Haru, which is the sacred cow. That also represents joy. And as you see, that cow is facing what Heru, the eye, has put into the brain. Saying that the brain has now taken delight. It has taken delight in being able to withhold this memory while still sitting on the pillar of Ma'at. You see that? There's joy on top of the empty brain, the part that is storing the new information, and that's all sitting on Ma'at now, and it's taking joy in that. But if you look at the cow, it's also holding the staff. You see that? That the thing that they use to ward off enemies, meaning it's protecting this information. It's holding on to this information and making sure it's not corrupted, that nobody can come in and just take this information out. You understand? It's becoming a part of you now. You see that? It's in your actual brain now. It's protecting it within the brain. So now if we keep moving on, to the right, you're going to see that same human being that was next to Hech, given the information, rising up with 4 unks, rising up, right, from out of a grave, right? And those unks, I should say the 2 unks, the left part and the right part, which is the Kundalini energy, it was once holding the energy and then now it's holding the life, or the unk, right? Is now taking that information and downloading it into its organs. That's what you see standing next to the tomb, is your bodily organs is being downloaded into your DNA. Those 4 entities are Kebsanuf, Hapi, which is the baboon, okay, Duamutef, that's the jackal looking head, and Imseti, which is the man head, the man face, okay. Kebsanuf is the hawk. You don't want to get that confused with Heru, and Hapi, which is that baboon head, okay. Those 4 entities, those 4 deities are the sons of Heru, okay. Those represent your bodily organs, okay. And as you know, Heru is the sun. That's why we are children of the sun. We have bodily organs. Though they're in Kemet, they were called the sons of Heru. So your body is a product of the sun. It is the son of the sun, right? Or the daughter of the sun. You're a child of the sun. So those 4 connectic energies, those are connectic jars. And inside of those, we would put body parts when we sahulify or mummify our dead, okay? It will be the lungs, the stomach, the liver, and the intestines, okay? Those are the same figures. Those are the same figures that you see behind me here. And I keep this as a reminder of downloading certain energies into my brain every day. And these are the little jars right here. See, you want to make sure that you learn at least one thing new a day. And this is my reminder to make sure I learn at least one thing new a day. You see that? So here you have this is the baboon head. You see that? That's Hapi. Right? Then you have here, a lot of people, they'll store their incense in one of these. You know what I'm saying? Put your incense in here before you burn them. This is Kebsanuf. Kebsanuf, not to be confused with Heru. That's Kebsanuf when it's in a jar like that. Okay. And then here we have Imseti. That's Imseti. Okay, that's the human head. Okay. And all of these represent different body parts. And my favorite here, Duamutef. That's Duamutef. Okay? So now, these are deities that you need to acknowledge because they represent you. Acknowledging them is acknowledging yourself, right? At the end of the day, acknowledging them is acknowledging yourself. This is knowledge of self, right? The Ankh represents the primordial deities, right? As an acronym. None he, cookette, I'm on that. All right. So now, moving on. So what has happened in this glyph is we now have information that we had during the day. In our meditative state, we went into an infinite, I should say, paradigm of knowledge that we have put into our brains. It was all scrambled at first, right? Then we made sense of it, made it stable, balanced it, sitting on my eye. The eye of Heru, the all-seeing eye, takes that information, puts it into an empty compartment in our brain while we're sleeping or while we're in our meditative state. And our brain looks back at it and say, look what we did. I like that. I like that. It stands on truth, justice, and reciprocity. I'm going to keep that. I can work with that. And then it gets downloaded into our organs and it becomes us. You understand? This is why we lack people when it comes to knowledge and information. Why? Because it's in our DNA. We store the information. We don't need 1,000 books. We don't need 1,000 videos or tutorials and classes. It's a part of us now. We can just spit it. By the time a lot of these scholars get finished doing their lesson once a week, we done lapped them 6 times already. You understand? Because it became a part of us. We're not just knowledgeable beings. That's not what we aspire to be. We want it to be a part of us. We want to live this every day, right? You want to be who you say you are. You want to be in a space where nobody can question how you got here. So moving on, because we have more information to cover. So now that we understand the power of knowledge and how we get it, how we get this knowledge to be stored in our DNA, right? We now have to figure out in this day and time why we're so distant from the knowledge, why we can't retain the knowledge, what happened. I got to give you the history, y'all. Because how do we go from that knowledge to us now not being able to remember nothing, not being able to take the information and apply the information? How do we get to where we are? I'm going to show you how. It started with this guy right here. His name was Henry Ford. Henry Ford. Henry Ford used to have factories for his cars. He used to have these factories. And I believe it was in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. And he wanted to manufacture cars more quickly. So what he did was he's the one who implemented the 40-hour work week. And white folks ran with it. They said, yeah, you know why they ran with it? Because he was doubling how much he was going to pay people. It went from like $2.25 to like $5 and something cents. So everybody was like, yeah, let's implement the 40-hour work week. You never ask yourself why the hell we all have to work 40 hours a week? Why are we slaving 40 hours a week? Why are we trading time for money? Well, it started with this guy. It started with Henry Ford. May the 1st, 1926, Henry Ford instituted the 40-hour work week for factory employees. Huh? That's when it all started. You say, well, what does this got to do with me being able to retain information? You know, what does punching the clock have to do with me being able to maintain information? Huh? Oh, that's a simple one. according to the information I just gave you, you're not sleeping enough. You're not sleeping enough. You see, the diaspora that we have in the conscious community is, wake the hell up. You gotta wake up. Right? Y'all better start sleeping. You better start sleeping. The meditative state, and when you're sleeping, brings you closer to the subconscious realm. Knowledge itself is the connection between the subconscious and the conscious. We are in the matrix because we live ourselves in an unbalanced vibration. You got people all the time, they spit this rhetoric. Oh, you're in your low vibe. You're in your low vibration. Don't you know that the low vibration is necessary? If you watched my video yesterday, then you understand where I'm going with this. You need the lower vibration in succession and in balance with higher vibrations. The lower vibration of the brain, or the meditative state of the brain, is how you store information. If your brain is always active and you're always doing everything, grabbing your attention, everything, you know, we got internet, TV, all these different things going on, keeping you in a heightened state of consciousness to where you never touch the subconscious. And when you touch the subconscious, you don't take anything from it. Your dreams and everything that you get in your dreams, you don't write them down. You don't care about them if you're getting sleep at all, because you're working your 40-hour work week. So when you do come home and you do sleep, you're sleeping for maybe you're not getting the 8 hours that you're supposed to get, or they say that you're supposed to get. Right? I'm going to tell you something. A human being is not supposed to work any more than 4 hours. And then you're supposed to sleep. 4 hours and then you're supposed to sleep. How does that work? How does that work? Proper rest doesn't mean a lot of rest. It doesn't mean a lot of rest. I'm going to show you how it's supposed to be done. Okay? There are 4 stages of sleep. Okay? The first 2 is like when you first buzzing. The 2 most important stages is the slow wave sleep and the rapid eye movement, REM. The slow wave is one of the most important. That's low frequency, y'all. Huh? That's when the brain moves on a really low frequency. I mean super low. The lower the better. Why? Why? Because the low frequency part of the brain is the hippocampus. The hippocampus. This is where long-term memory is stored. Okay? Long-term memory is stored in the hippocampus. This is where it's located in your brain. When you are in a meditative sleep, when you are in a meditative state or you are sleeping, that is how you store this information. You understand? This is the most important part. What I'm telling you in this lesson right now. This is the most important part. How you are sleeping will dictate how much information you are able to retain. How you are sleeping. Sleeping for longer periods of time, once a day, is out of balance. You have to split it up. Okay? Human beings, we sleep in a monophasic environment. Meaning, monophasic is we only sleep once, generally. The majority of human beings, adult stage, we sleep once, and that's at night. We sleep for 8 hours, we wake up, we work for 8 hours, hang out for the next 5 or 6, and then go back to sleep for another 8 hours, right? That's how we do it. That's not how human beings were meant to operate. We only do that because of the 40-hour work week. We were only supposed to work for 4 hours and then go to sleep. It's called polyphasic sleeping. Polyphasic, meaning you split up your sleeping schedule. Okay? Polyphasic. Babies are born with a heightened sense of consciousness, and they sleep in a polyphasic rhythm. Meaning they're up for a little bit, go back to sleep, up for a little bit, go back to sleep. You understand? They're born with that. And then about a year in, we're the ones who teach them and break them out of that cycle. Because of our 40-hour work week, we break them out of that cycle. And we turn them into biphasic, where they sleep for maybe, I don't know, 6 hours, 7 hours, and then they take a nap. Bi meaning 2, right? So they sleep twice in a 24-hour time period. Okay? Every 4 hours, we're supposed to be sleeping. In shorter periods of time, shorter, deeper periods of time. Because that is when we fall into a meditative state, right? Yeah, like they say, power naps. Every single time we do that, we go into a meditative state that brings us into a deeper sleep where the subconscious is now able to more frequently connect with the conscious, and we can retain memories much better. We can retain information much better. You studying for a test, you want to take frequent naps. Not study all night long and not rest. You will fail that test. If you take more frequent naps between your studies, you will retain the information that you're supposed to retain. Do you understand? This is why we encourage being an entrepreneur and being on your own, because as an entrepreneur, you could do stuff like this. But if you're running behind the man, you running behind that white man, he ain't going to let you sleep. Your ideas, and this is why you have writer's block. This is why you can't be creative. Because you're not connecting to the subconscious where the dreams are made, where infinite possibilities are available to you. You got to reconnect with Heh and Hahet. You got to connect with infinity. You have to connect with them. You understand? Connecting with infinity and the infinite deity is how you get these creative ideas. Do you understand? If you write down your dreams, you will be a powerful being. But because you don't sleep enough, in succession, you're not getting your dreams. You see? You need Heh and Hahet in your life. When you're meditating, you can put formulations together. This is what sacred geometry was about. Sacred geometry was about taking those shapes and being able to visualize them and make them in different sequences, right? It was reprogramming your DNA back. But in order for you to actually utilize these geometric shapes, you have to be in a meditative state, or you have to be sleeping. That's the only way to do it. You understand? This is why this guy, Nikola Tesla, was so ill. I don't know if you've ever studied Nikola Tesla. He was one of the dudes that I studied first when I first awakened, because I wanted to understand how he created alternative current. And this dude, he lived in this paradigm. He took the teachings of Kemet and was able to utilize it for himself. He was able to see his inventions in his sleep and in meditation with his eyes closed without actually having the materials in front of him. And this is what he said. He says, I even note if it's out of balance. There is no difference whatever. The results are the same. In this way, I am able to rapidly develop and perfect a conception without touching anything. When I have gone so far as to embody in the invention every possible improvement I can think of and see no fault anywhere, I put into concrete form this final product of my brain. So it all starts in the mind. Nothing that you can ever create, nothing you can ever put in stone, nothing that will ever be of value to you in the physical realm has to start in the mind first. And the mind operates on a meditative state. It operates in the subconscious. We're not talking about the brain. We're talking about the mind. The mind controls the brain. You understand? You have to be in a meditative, restful state in order for the brain to connect to the mind. This is the secret cycle. The 6 points. The 6 points. You think it's a coincidence that the most powerful people in the world right now, the Jewish people, use a 6-pointed star as their symbol? Huh? I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe it's just coincidence. Any entrepreneur that you find, any millionaire, billionaire that you find is going to be an entrepreneur. They're one and the same. They're one and the same. They're people that can do what they want when they want to. They can sleep when they want to. They can work when they want to. That's how they move. That's how they operate. It's the sleep cycle. The single most important cycle that you can cultivate is your rest. Shorter, more effective sleeping cycles. Those dreams that you having, write them down. Write them down. If you're not dreaming, it's because you're not sleeping frequently enough. The lower vibration. The lower vibration. That is what is key. You see, we got a lot of people that say, yeah, that's low vibration. That's low vibration. Man, you stupid. You don't know what low vibration is. You don't know what it's supposed to be used for. Huh? Low vibration is used for programming. For programming. Simply that. The ancestors already had this knowledge. They laid it out for you. They laid it out for you. As you can see, Hech on his or her knees in a meditative state, in a restful state. We already had the science. Huh? Welcome to the lighthouse. You can't destroy energy. You can't get rid of energy. You have to figure out what its power is, what it's supposed to be used for. That's including the lower vibration. That 40-hour work week is killing you. It's keeping you dormant, in a dormant mentality, in a dormant mind state. So for every lesson a scholar puts out, the Lighthouse put out 6 lessons. Do the math. I already explained to you that the sun is your brain. The sun is your brain. Right? It wasn't supposed to be taken literally. The sun is your brain. So when you look at the biblical texts and you see somebody, they say, yo, he lived for 400 years, 400 solar years, 450 years. Do you think he was alive for 400 years? For 400 periods of 365 days? Or was he alive for a cycle, a sun cycle of 450 cycles? His brain. How many times did he sleep? How many times did he reset? How many times did he do that? How many cycles of that did he repeat over and over and over? What was his cycles? Every day you go to sleep, you are reborn. Every time you sleep, you are reborn. Every time you sleep and awake, you are reborn. Night and day, night and day. You understand? You've lived a day. A 4-hour day, 8-hour day, 16-hour day. Those are all days. Every time you go to sleep, you are downloading information that you learn within that amount of time. Every time you meditate, you are downloading information that you learn within that amount of time into your bodily organs. This is how the brain works. This is how you become who you are. Your sleep cycle. All the most powerful human beings in the world will tell you that. Let's go back. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. No big laboratory is needed in which to think. Originality thrives in seclusion, free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. Huh? You got to go within. All this other stuff, your job, family, everything, all the distractions, this person, that person, social media, news, movies, video games, drugs, sex, alcohol, distractions. Get on cycle. Get on cycle. If that is your goal in life. What are you trying to do? Huh? If you want to be successful, invest in yourself. You owe it to yourself. A 40-hour work week is unnatural. It's unnatural. The only reason why you're doing it is simply for that cotton, for that money. That's the only reason why you're doing it. If money wasn't a value, if money wasn't an object, and you had all the money in the world, would you be doing it? Would you work 40 hours? What is your body telling you? History will tell us everything. It will tell us how everything started. You have to study history so you can understand why things are the way they are. There are people that will tell you that sleeping 8 hours a day is all you need sufficiently, sleeping 8 hours a day. They don't tell you that you're supposed to split those 8 hours up. They don't tell you that. So here we are just banging out 8 hours. And we missing out. We only doing one sleep cycle in a given day, in 24-hour period. We're doing one sleep cycle when we could be doing six. Six different downloads of information. Can you imagine if we practice that? 6 times a day we're getting different downloads? Wow. If you can't do it, meditate 6 times a day. Meditate 6 times a day. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as death. What they say, sleep is the cousin of death. It's the same thing. Get into the restful state and channel Hech. Huh? Get on frequency. Get on cycle, y'all. Know how to work with the lower self. Know what, because it can't go nowhere. The lower self is always going to be there. The lower vibration, it can't go nowhere. The lower vibration is a part of the high vibration. It's a wave. You see? Everybody trying to tell you, yeah, we got to stay in the high vibrations. You know, peace, peace, peace. We high vibrations. It's impossible. It's impossible. You're lying. You're lying. You know? You can't even stay in a high frequency infinitely. It's impossible. It's against divine law. You have to have a low frequency in order for a high to exist. So why are you trying to feed anybody the rhetoric? That's the okie doke. You might as well go and get you a Bible and deal with religion. You might as well go on. Go on back to church. Huh? If you want one side of the story, go on back to church and believe that you're on the good side, right? High vibration, God, good versus evil, low vibration, devil. That's the BS that they feed you. Instead of you understanding that all of this is all of this is one entity, one energy in different forms. So with that being said, if this video did anything for you, hit the like button, share, subscribe, send it to your family and friends. You can donate to the Lighthouse PayPal as well if you would like to support what we do here at the Lighthouse. Educational classes that we give every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on the dot. Dua for everybody for being here. Donations of $50 or more will get you the Lighthouse Power Bracelet. These are the Lighthouse Power Bracelets. Donations of $50 or more, you'll be vibrating together with all of us when we do our morning ascension. Also, we have Lighthouse t-shirts, $25 for Lighthouse t-shirts. If you would like to donate $25 or more, the donation link is JAMAARMILTON@gmail.com. That is the email address. With that being said, that is all I got for you today. Sleep well. May the divine force in me greet the divine force in you. Dua, 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 dua. Ashe, family. Peace.